You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to break down the Summer League play, specifically from Javon Freeman-Liberty, Dalen Terry. We're going to talk about all the players on the Summer League team and ask, did AK maybe find some diamonds in the rough? We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize. I forgot. It's the main one. And host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. But Pat, let's get into it, man. The Bulls this was a pretty entertaining Summer League game last night. And we're going to start it off with this, a couple of the players that, that just came into this team, and Julian Phillips, Adama Sanago, had absolutely their best Summer League performances as of yet, especially when you look at Julian Phillips, who one of the biggest knocks on him was he going to be able to hit the three-point shot? There's been a lot made of how when he went to college, they tried to change his shot. He was actually a decent three-point shooter in high school. The Bulls immediately kind of got him back to that high school form. He goes 3 of 3 from a three-point line today, taking him confidently. We're talking about off dribbles and everything else. Defense was there, rebounding was there. Adama Sanago played pretty solidly. How you feeling about the acquisitions there in the Summer League game?
Well, I mean, listen, you want to see the other things, right? Like, we know that Julian Phillips can guard. His defense has been talked about even among people who are like, oh, the Bulls went out and got another guy. Like, they talk about him as a defensive player. So you wanted to see if that shot was going to come along. It's good to see that. The thing that I love that I'm seeing is he's confident in it.
Yeah.
He's not hesitating with it, right? Like, going to college and being put into a role didn't change his shot. And I think that there's two things with me that really stand out about seeing Julian Phillips is that he's kind of, at least early on, it feels like he's kind of that chameleon guy. Can he be the scorer that he was in college? Well, I love the rebounding aspect of it. I love how he attacks the rim. I love that little float game that he has. Can he be that guy that's just a role player that goes out there and defends and gets you a couple of points? Sure, he can be that too. And I think that that's the part that people don't look at with a lot of players where, yeah, you want to find the best talent, you want to find the best athlete, but at the end of the day, you want to find the guy that's going to be able to fit the best. It feels like Julian Phillips, wow, that's crazy. It feels like Julian Phillips is going to be able to fit really well with what the Chicago Bulls want to do here. And so I love what we saw out of Julian Phillips. So y'all know that I've been high on Adama Sanago. He didn't come out in Summer League and give me the glowing first game that I was hoping for. But since then, I mean, players like Adama Sanago are the guys that we look at and we say, he's just great at his role. And he could be, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a center at this level, but he can absolutely be the Taj Gibson off of the bench or the Bobby Portis off of the bench. Now, with that shot, he's not going to be Bobby Portis because that shot is slow. But I think that he can be that guy that is the dirty, get the job done. Everybody calls him undersized, and then he's out there and he grabs 10 rebounds type of guy. And so I think there might be a case for some gems. And to me, I'm higher. I said this before when we drafted it. I'm higher on Adama Sanago than I am on Julian Phillips, and we got him undrafted just because I think that Adama Sanago's game kind of fits right into the NBA on both ends of the floor. But I think if Julian Phillips can find that shot, sky's the limit for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Julian Phillips, right, like you said, everybody's talked about this kid's defensive versatility and saying that he could potentially guard 1 through 4 spots in the NBA. And so because of that, like, if you can use him on switches, if he can stay with guards, use his length, like that right there automatically makes him a potential versatile weapon. And then when you talk about if that shot comes on, and we haven't even gotten to see the athleticism. Keep in mind, this guy has a 40-inch vertical.
We got to see it today.
Yeah, we did get to see it today.
Hey, that man caught that rebound and just leapt straight up. I was like, oh, he can jump. Oh, okay.
And so that's like he has such a modern day game that if that shot does round out for him, keep in mind, Peter Patton, our head of player development, hasn't even really got a chance to get a hold of this kid yet.
Yeah.
So Yes, it's summer league. So you have everything that we talk about today. Let's go ahead and throw the precursor on. It's summer league. We understand that. We're not saying that these things translate one for one.
Yeah.
But at least when you look at the raw skills and what he does, hey, the sky's the limit for Julian Phillips. And you already mentioned Adama Sanago. Listen, Sanago came in and played his game. 7 of 10 from the field, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, only 3 personal fouls, which, with big men, you got to look at that personal foul number for the young big men.
Yeah.
I loved Adama Sanago's game and how if he gets a rebound, he's putting it up. And that's how young bigs need to play.
Yeah. And to me, it's about, what do they do? Like we said, it's the summer league caveat. But what are they doing? It's like I said with Dalen Terry. What are they doing with what we expect them to do if Zach LaVine's on the floor and Vooch and DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah.
Listen, Julian Phillips probably isn't getting 8 shots. Right? Like, he's probably not getting 8 shots in a game in his rookie year unless we just have no offense coming off of the bench. Adama Sanago, though, right? He's a guy who can go out there and grab you. What he grabbed today? 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds, or 9 rebounds today. Sorry, 9 rebounds, because there's going to be a need for rebounding. What else can he do? He can put that mug right back up. That, to me, translates right away into the NBA. That translates to what the Bulls can do right now. Julian Phillips, what I saw from him on the defensive end, little early, picked up 2 early fouls. And in my mind, that was a scenario where if this is the real season, he's probably sitting on the bench. You don't get to see that 6 for 8. There's going to have to be a pickup on that. But when he does come back in, kind of cleans up the defense, able to knock down the open look. I mean, those are things that just translate over. Like, and so I think that translates to what the Bulls are going to be doing in a modern type of game. Now, the tough part for me, and I'll ask you this, right? Adama Sanago basically only gets 15 games before he has to be put on a real contract.
Well, it's 50 now.
Is it 50 now?
I think 50. Two-way players can play 50 games before they have to be played. Yeah,
we got to
update
that change. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. When they slipped that one in on me.
That was actually a change they made during the COVID protocols, and they just locked it in as a permanent change with the new CBA.
Oh, they never went back with it. Okay, okay. I like that then. So you might get an opportunity to really see this guy then.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that I'll ask you this. Of those 2, and we'll talk about Javon Freeman-Liberty and Terry as well. Terry kind of doesn't count because he's already on one, but
yeah.
Are they going to get a real contract? Well, Phillips has
a contract.
Phillips has one, but is Adama Sanago going to be able to get a real contract with this Bulls team, or is there somebody else maybe you see?
In the first year, no. I think Adama Sanago is not going to get a real contract in the first year, especially now that you can play in 50 games.
I think we're going to get contract. A Bulls.
I know.
NBA contract.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
real
NBA
contracts sound crazy.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit derogatory.
Making money. He got a contract.
He's getting money. I don't think that he's going to get a full NBA contract, not in the first year. I think they're going to develop him. He's going to get some spot minutes, especially if we need some size. I do think he's going to be out there in some games, some matchups. Yeah. And it depends on how he performs in that. Always you gotta throw out the Billy Donovan buffer. We just don't know now. He's
6'9" though.
So there you go. There you go. I can absolutely see AK said, "All right, bet. So you want to play 6'9" guys at center? I got somebody for you." But I
puts up a point guard. Wait a minute. Well,
yeah. So I do think this first year, no, but I do think he absolutely has a chance if he performs well and develops pretty nicely down there at the G League. That we're talking about this time next year. We're talking about Adama Sanago at a vet minimum.
Here's the wild part, right? If it's 50 games, what are you saying? First 30 games, maybe you literally just, hey, go down in the G League, work on your game, develop your game. We'll see you when we can play you and not have to give you this extra money.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I think unless injury, something like that, we're not, because keep in mind, Torrey Craig has played small ball center before, so Billy Donovan is absolutely going to use him as small ball center. So I think that the way the roster is built is that we're going to see him if we need to see him, and maybe even and then if he performs well in that, you just never know. Billy may see a game where it's like, hey man, this big is finna give Vooch some work. And Andre Drummond's been fouling a lot lately. We're going to bring in Adama for this road stretch. We're going to play him for about 2 games on the 3-game road stretch. I think that could go.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I mean, that's how Tony Tony Bradley got out on that West Coast trip. Now there was some COVID that played in with that as well, but that's how he got himself in on that West Coast trip, and he was able to show a little something on that trip. Now he never showed anything again, but on that trip, I mean, that West Coast trip lives in Bulls lore.
After that trip, he did that. He had another game where he had almost a double-double after that trip. But, it is what it is.
Well, the problem is that he had one carry, but it was somebody carrying him. Yeah, I mean, like that's really where the career ended. That's where it started to go down.
Very true, very true. So next up, though, we're going to talk about a guy who's really been turning a lot of heads down there in Summer League, and that is Javon Freeman-Liberty. But before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is Birddogs. Birddogs just simply make you look good. Birddogs stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Birddog shorts do exactly the same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. They fit better than regular shorts that are made of stiff, restricting cotton. Birddogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches, so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Birddog uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or enter promo code LockedOnNBA for a free Yeti-style tumbler. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or promo code LockedOnNBA for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you.
Please don't.
Especially not around us.
Not on this
podcast. All right, Pat, man. Javon Freeman-Liberty, bro. Been in the system for a while now, right? He's, I believe, second year. He's going into his second season in this system. And I'll tell you what, he looks like a different player than initially what he looked like in his first stint last year in the Summer League. Like, he's playing poised out there. He's hitting shots. He's averaging over 50% from the field and from three-point range. Again, caveat, it is Summer League. We understand that. What have you thought about Javon Freeman-Liberty?
I would personally rather see the Bulls take a flyer on Javon Freeman-Liberty than most of the players we've heard about this offseason. Because to me, he's not a small point guard, right? Like, remember Carla Jones was the G League MVP, and he was like, oh, okay, but he's 5'10", 6 foot, 6'4" guy, fast, gets downhill, facilitates the ball well, takes care of the ball. I believe he had 6 assists tonight, no turnovers. And even, listen, it's Summer League. These guys are still basketball players. There's good defense being played out there, especially, and they're actually trying hard, to force turnovers because they're trying to get spots on teams. And the scoring's effortless. We talked about the one time that he got in the game and got an ability to score in an NBA game last season, 6 minutes, 8 points. We knew he could score. I think that he could score at an NBA level. I don't think he'll get 17 shots ever again. But I mean, like, for me, I would love to see the Bulls take a real shot at Javon Freeman-Liberty, JFL, because to me, he's a guy who can come in and fit a role right away. I just need you to be able to knock down shots and pass the ball off the bench.
And for a team that has had players that have passed up open shots, he's not going to do that. Now, I know that we're guard heavy, and some could say, Steve-O over at Chicago Bulls Central did say, like, hey, it could make the camp battle pretty interesting between Carleek, Javon Freeman-Liberty, and potentially Ayo Dosunmu if they're all there. It could be. But I tell you what, one thing that I look at Javon Freeman-Liberty and I say that this is a guy that I just want to see given an opportunity and what he can do with it for a team that is as strapped for cash as the Chicago Bulls are. And for a team that doesn't like to pay the luxury tax, you have to find value if you're not going to do that. And one thing that we haven't done, what did we talk about? The Miami Heat had so many undrafted players that played a role for them. And I'm not necessarily saying that, hey, that just means that JFL is going to do that. But I do say that you have to, when you see people that show a talent and a skill level, you try to double down on that. You try to develop that. You're going to try to do some things to see what that can be, because if you can, even if he can bring a fraction of that and just hit wide open shots and three-pointers and take players off the drive, That's a skill set that we need coming off the bench, especially if Kobe White does eventually go to the starting lineup. I still think it's going to be Javon Carter, but if Kobe White is in the starting lineup, we have a need for scoring on the bench. He could fill that.
I mean, listen, and there's nothing wrong with having multiple scores off your bench. You know what I mean? At a minimum,
he's better than Goran Dragic.
He's absolutely better than. Well, I don't know about that.
Not a passer.
I think Goran Dragic was a pretty good shooter until he got to us. Like,
I'm thinking with us last season. I'm specifically us last season.
Well, the 23-year-old is a better option than 47-year-old Goran Dragic. Yes, I will agree with you on that. I mean, here's the tough part about it, right? Like, the spot that realistically he probably would end up taking, you'd think is what if Io doesn't come back,
or Carlik Jones. Carlik Jones has a non-fully guaranteed deal. The Bulls can get out of that deal as late as October 16th and not have to pay him.
Yeah.
So
I would rather have him over Carlik. I would rather. I know the MVP and all, but you can't. You have Javon Carter already. You can't have 15 guys on your team that are undersized guys. You got to have size at some position. I would rather have size at Javon Carter. With Javon Carter, to me, he's more similar to Io as well. Both guys 6'4". He scores a little bit better. We seem to keep doing that. Javon Carter, Io. We got a lot of Chicago guys. What's up with the
other guy?
Well, all of our team. What you mean, Javon? Io?
No, that was here for a while. He's gone now. He went to the Washington Wizards. He was in our G League system for like 3 years.
Devon Dotson.
Yeah,
Devon Dotson. He was. He was from Chicago too. Man, all our Chicago teams, bro. Like the Bears just going out and getting dudes that like Tunyon's from Chicago. The White Sox just like, let's just draft some dudes from Chicago. The Cubs got the dude that like played Little League and World Series in Chicago. Like, I like it, but like, okay, let's get the best talent. Let's not just maybe Chicago is the best talent. Bow, that's what we saying. At the end of the day, I would rather see Freeman-Liberty get more of an opportunity because I think that you need to start getting guys moving in the right direction that are younger.
Yeah.
And if he's showing you anything at this age, you might as well try to. Maybe even having him out there with an Io DeSumo or with a Kobe White actually helps them improve because it takes a little bit of a responsibility from them.
And we've done a lot of talking about these young players, and I'm going to ask you this. Even if they do make the roster, what percentage do you think that Billy Donovan's actually going to play these guys, though?
Well, Freeman-Liberty's only 6'4", so he's probably got a good chance.
Starting center.
I mean, like, none. Right? Maybe Sanago. If Sanago made the roster, maybe.
See, I'm going to push back on that. I understand where you're coming from, only because we've seen Billy Donovan's 2 for 2. We've seen 2 players that's drafted that played immediately. We saw 2 that came in that didn't. They spent a lot of time in the G League. And the 2 that did, in Patrick Williams and Io DeSumo, defense. They got on the court because of their defense. So I do think if Julian Phillips' defense is what everybody's making it seem, I do think he has a chance. I'm not willing to bet on him, but I think he has a chance.
Julian Phillips, I thought you were talking about like guys that are going to probably spend time on a two-way.
Two-way, yeah. 2 ways, no.
I think Julian Phillips has a chance to play. I think that he's because he's defensive, he'll have a chance to play. I think if we can get that shot confident, he'll absolutely have a chance to play. And AK likes to be proven right. AK likes those little like, I found this gem here. I found this guy here. I don't think they ever really believed in Marco. I think they hoped with Marco. I think they believe in Julian Phillips. I think that's the difference. I think there was like this hope that like Marco was going to become this set. They hoped Marco became Vooch.
That's a great point.
He never became Vooch. He never got close to having a post move that ever looked like a Vooch. And I think they just hope Julian Phillips comes in and performs. And I kind of feel the same way about Javon Freeman-Liberty because to me, you keep bringing this guy back. You're not right. Like normally in a situation like this, you would take shots. You would give shots to the other guys. You want to see Dalen shoot. You want to see Phillips shoot. You want to see Sanago maybe because he was drafted this year. They're force feeding the ball to Javon Freeman-Liberty.
Yeah.
So maybe there's even a belief in him as well.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. I like the young guys, man. I like what's going down in the summer league. It's been enjoyable so far to watch. And and we didn't even mention players like Henry Drell, Nate Darling. These players are showing some things as well that maybe they're going to probably be on that G League team, and we'll see. Now, one thing before we get on Javon Freeman-Liberty. The Bulls have to offer him a two-way contract, right? Because as soon as summer league ends, a team's calling him if the Bulls.
Yeah, he's got to be a part of your team. To me,
yeah,
he's got to be a part. Now, here's the tough part about that, right? Nate Darling and Henry Drell will absolutely be on the Miami Heat torching us, right? Or on the Philadelphia 76. Like, we know that, right?
Yeah,
that's gonna happen. So prepare for that. And the conversation of he was in our system. Like, I see it already. I look at these guys. I'm like, oh, like 6'6" white dude with a jumper. He's absolutely going to be next to Jimmy Butler killing us for 2 years.
And maybe Dame Lillard.
Bro, they got to trade away Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
You got to find another 6'6" white dude.
Henry Drell. Let's get him in there.
Oh, man. Listen, before we move on to the final topic, where we got to talk about, has Dalen Terry improved? We do want to let you know this show is also sponsored by BetterHelp. Here's the thing about BetterHelp, man. Listen, sometimes you're going through things in life. You just don't know where to turn. You just need somebody to talk to. And in my own personal experience, right, sometimes going through the entire process of trying to find the right therapist, find the right person to really help you, is more of a process that causes stress than anything. And so for me, I love that BetterHelp is out there, man. I mean, the thing for me about BetterHelp, if you're thinking about starting therapy, it's one of those things where it's entirely online. It's designed literally to be convenient. It's flexible, suited to your schedule. All you have to do is just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with licensed therapists, and you can switch therapists at any time. Legitimately, I have been on this. I have literally talked to some of these therapists. First guy wasn't vibing with him. He's a nice guy, just wasn't my vibe, right? Ended up switching. He was fine with it. It was no, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. That's what they're there for. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
All right, everydayers, we want to remind you as well before we jump into the next topic that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. Now, Pat, before we go, man, we got to talk about it, man. A lot has been made over this of Dalen Terry. Been really up and down shooting wise. I don't know. He's been down shooting wise. It's not been much up there, but everything else of his game looks good. The defense, rebounding, getting blocked shots, the passing, especially in transition. Almost every other aspect of his game has looked pretty solid. That shooting leaves much to be desired, though. Do you feel that Dalen Terry has improved from where we saw him last year in Summer League to this point in Summer League?
I feel that Dalen Terry is what we need him to be. I just think we didn't get to see this last season. Dalen Terry's best asset is his energy. And to me, he's going to be able to bring that night in and night out. If he can do that while going out there getting 7 rebounds, 5 assists, I would like to see him keep the turnover ratio down a little bit. It looked like it almost, the pass looks long. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, right? Like, he's in very close quarters, and there's a couple of times where he's trying to throw a pass, and it's like he's trying to throw like a long arm bounce pass, and it just looks like it's taken too long to get to guys, and that's where a lot of the turnovers are created. But here's the thing. You got to go through those mistakes to be able to get on the other side of those, and he hasn't been able to go through those mistakes. Good to see him go through them here. And I just think he's what we need. Listen, he finished the day with 2 blocks, like you said, 1 steal, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Yeah, he's got the 4 turnovers, but the guy just finds guys in transition. And I think to me, he's going to be a guy who is going to be able to, there's no better way to say it. I'm sorry. We're going to have to hit the record scratch. It's going to be able to suck the D in and be able to kick it out to the open man.
Collapse the D probably would have sufficed there, brother.
You're absolutely right. It's still bad though. It's still bad. It's not great.
It's better
great.
than sucks the D in, bro.
Hey, listen, I didn't know.
Tough.
It's basketball. What do you want from me? Dalen played a great game in the Cox Pavilion tonight.
Oh my God, that is hilarious, man. I think and a lot's being made about Dalen Terry and his lack of shooting, and I understand it, right? Especially with somebody who needed to work on it. I completely understand.
It didn't get better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the shot form did get better. The result didn't get any better, though. That's the problem that we sit with here. But I think people need to remember, not the age. I'm never going to use the age thing. Dalen Terry, what he can, if he does have a role in the Bulls this year, shooting is probably the 5th thing on the list that they're going to need from him. He's doing all the top 4 things that they're going to need from him. He's doing that pretty darn good.
Here's the thing. I only want to see Dalen Terry shoot in 2 scenarios.
Wide open.
Or shot clock running out.
Or dunk. Transit. Well, that's not shooting.
Yeah. Like, I'm talking about like shooting like a 3-ball or like, I mean, listen, float, dunk. Like, if you got an open lane, take it. But like, I only want to see him shooting in 2 scenarios. It's not what I want from him. I want him to be a facilitator. I want him to be a defensive clamp. And I think he can do both of those things. And I think that he's somebody that'll play well defensively in this system. And that's all I'm looking for from him. Like, I feel like people are. Dalen Terry was drafted to literally be a backup to a Javon Carter that could also be a backup to a DeMar DeRozan that can also be
a Swiss Army knife that could do a lot of things.
He's here literally to be Draymond, but like our version. Hopefully he develops into that one day. But like, just a guy that can do everything.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Draymond was talking about he used to be able to shoot. I went back and looked. He actually could shoot.
Yeah, good.
Like, well,
he had like 4-5 season stretch there, and then it's done.
Yeah, it was over.
Done.
It died.
Yeah, it died off. Joker almost made would have absolutely got us canceled. So I'm glad that God literally came in and was like, Haize, stop it. Like, that's just what happened. Son. He was like, stop it, bro.
Don't do it.
God was like, son, you wilding right now, my son. Like, you gotta chill out on this one, bro.
Read some literature on the subject.
If y'all want to know the joke that I was gonna make, hit me up on Twitter. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, listen, Dalen has improved. Now I think that Dalen right now, let me know if you agree or disagree. Like, Dalen's gonna have to get minutes by what our roster is right now. Like, even if it's only 8 to 10.
Dalen's a situational player to me, which I don't like. Right? Like, he's the guy that if you just need that Swiss, he's DJJ in the second half. Right?
Oh,
I need a guy that I can throw out there. And it's not a bad thing. I need a guy I can throw out there that's always going to be ready and it can make plays. I think that's going to be Dalen Terry's role this season. You're not bringing back DJJ. You're looking for that guy that's going to be able to make that impact. It seems like we're not bringing back a Javonte Green. I mean, like, all those players we talked about that we have too many of, now we don't have any. Right? Like that's the Alex Caruso's, the Javon Carter, or not Javon Carter's, the DJJs, the Javonte Greens. Like, 2 years ago, we were talking about, we got 4 of those guys. It's great to have the hustle, but none of them are, great shooters or great scorers at the end of the day.
There are 5 Javontes out there.
There are 5 Javontes out there. There really were at some point.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. I'm not down on Javonte. I mean, down on Dalen. I know he got some things that he needs to work on, but listen, he's a 20-year-old kid. And it is what it is, man.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Lonzo Ball and RJ Barrett could learn to shoot, anybody can.
Yeah, because his shot isn't nearly as broken as what Lonzo Ball's was when he came.
Hey, man, listen. Lonzo Ball's shot was crazy when he came into the league. And RJ Barrett shoot with the confidence of Stephen Curry. And
by the way, today is Dalen Terry's birthday.
Oh, so he actually is 20 today.
He's 21.
21
today. 21 today.
Hey, shout out to you, my boy. Don't go out and have a drink because I can't make you better.
He's in Vegas for his 21st birthday.
That's crazy.
Man. Thank God they don't play today.
That's crazy.
Thank God they don't play today.
There's a whole Twitter page on. Never mind. Don't worry about that. Hey man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Dalen, don't go to that Twitter. Y'all stay safe out of Chicago.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. We want to thank you every day for tuning in and making Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day, even throughout the offseason, where we will continue to give you that daily content. Make sure you guys go and follow Pat as well. He's been killing it over there, over at the Chicago Bears podcast at ESPN 1000. But that's our time for today. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls. We out here. Peace, y'all.
Peace. All right. We be making it through some of these episodes by the skin of our teeth.